I welcome all the participants to the second session of this 3-day student empowerment program. And the topic of the next session is commercialization of lab technologies and tech transfer. And the resource person of the session is Dr. O.P. Sharma, Director NCID. Uh, Dr. Sharma is working towards finding innovative technology and learning solutions and support solutions for the distance learners using the newer technologies. He is actively working towards promoting the culture of innovation among the students and faculty of the university. And this is one such program in a series of programs which we have been conducting since the past 3 to 4 years. Dr. Sharma has pioneered the on-demand examination system in his previous institution, National Institute of Open Schooling, which is still following the system. And he had also implemented this in IGNO. He has worked on digital question banks, projects like ScienceNet Mobile, Shodhara, research repository projects, etc. in the university. His area of interest are science popularization, technology-enabled teaching learning, research in open and distance education, examination reforms, innovative initiatives for effective and learner-friendly support services for distance learners. He has experience of more than 25 years of working in open and distance education, system of IGNO and NIS, and about 4 years of experience of working in the formal system of education at NCERT. He has worked as a research officer in the erstwhile Planning Commission, Government of India during 1999-2000. And for his science popularization initiatives, he has been awarded by the President of India, by the Governor of Uttar Pradesh, and the various other organizations. So without taking much time, I invite Dr. O.P. Sharma to deliberate upon the topic.
Thank you, Dr. Josna. The first session which you have seen was very interactive, and that was focusing mainly on the design thinking, critical thinking, and other related aspects. Lots of examples you have seen. And because in this series, we want to give you a kind of knowledge of all the aspects related to the startup, innovation, entrepreneurship. And we have seen that many of our students are already in that stage where they can think of some technological in hand they have technology, that kind of thing they are having. So now the question is, what kind of technology, what kind of ideas or innovation you are having, what will you do? Some of you may start your own startup, may start your own business, but it's not possible in case of all those who have these innovative ideas. So in that case, it's very important to transfer that technology for the purpose of commercialization, because unless you transfer that technology to a company, to an institute or industry which can use it on mass scale and commercialize, can generate revenue, then I think that idea or innovation which you have in mind may not be useful to the society, or may not be as revenue generating or business kind of thing as you had in mind. For that purpose, it is very important to think of uh, how you can transfer your idea, how you can transfer your innovation or technology to a company, to an industry, to an institute, which can make it commercialized. That is a kind of thing. So this today's topic, which I will be discussing with you, that is on the commercialization of technology and transferring technology if required. So I would like to share my slide in this context, and then we'll discuss in detail. So Is my slide visible, Dr. Josna?
Yeah, Dr. Sharma, it is visible.
Thank you. So this topic will be basically focusing on commercialization of lab technologies, because lab technologies, why we are saying that when we work in an institute like IGNO or any other university or IIT, NIT, normally these students they work in the lab setup. uh, Very few students they work at their own homes or workplace. Otherwise, even that also we can call as a lab kind of condition, because there you have a situation where you have devices or the environment like a lab, research lab. So when you have developed something, some technology in that setup, technology
Hello.
in that research lab setup, then what to do that further? You want to commercialize it, you want to generate revenue, or just want to take patent of it and then forget it? And if you want to take patent, then also what will you do with that patent? Can you still generate some revenue? Can get advantage of this? Can that patented product or item be utilized by the country, by the society, for the benefit of the people? That all is possible. So how to do that? And in that case, if you have thought of transferring that technology, then how to transfer that technology to industry, to a company, or to an institute, or some individual also? That, so I will be talking about these all. So the basic question is basically, what is technology commercialization? You all might be knowing now by now that our honorable prime minister has been talking about making research findings from lab to land. That is a very popular slogan by now. The same thing we are talking now today. Basically, this is the process of taking an idea or an innovative product to market and creating financial values with it. Why financial values? Because if you are not creating financial values, then that idea will remain with you only, will not be utilized by the people for the purpose of a society or country. So that is basically the we can say the technology commercialization. So this process of taking an idea to market and creating financial value with it is the technology commercialization. Typically through licensing, how we do it? We can license that innovation, can develop a new product or service, or with the help of that you can create a new business with the help of somebody. It does not necessarily refer to moving specific finished technology to market. This is, you should be very clear in this context, that it doesn't mean that you have finalized something and that is the final thing, then only you are going to the market. It can involve some that technology transfer at the earlier stages also. If you have developed a prototype, even a proof of concept also, and if it is appealing and convincing to the investors or some industry, that can also be commercialized and can be transferred to someone else. So this is a possible. Sometimes technology commercialization maybe like you have done something, you have developed some very good innovative intellectual property, then that intellectual property itself can be transferred, instead of you have developed some product, and then instead of transferring that complete product, what is the technology behind that, that if you are transferring, that is also possible. So this is a saying like that we need not to transfer the what is the full black box, but what is inside it, that need to be transferred. What is the technology, what is the concept behind it, that also is possible. So this is a, we can say, the technology commercialization, uh, the process of transitioning technology from research lab to the marketplace for the purpose of commercialization. This is very important. So here in this, you will find two basic concepts, that is a technology transfer and the purpose of commercialization. If you are transferring technology and it is not being used for the purpose of revenue generation or commercialization, then also it is not it may not be fulfilling its purpose. So this is basically the meaning of technology transfer. Then Why it is required, that is also important. As I told you, you as an individual has developed some innovative thing, innovative product, innovative application, software, something like. If it is lying with you or not being uh, commercialized, is not being converted into a proper business, then I think it may not be useful as it should be. So that's why it is very important to commercialize that technology, and that can be done only when you transfer it, or you take it at your own also as a business setup. So first thing is, it develops a platform to share your ideas. When you are transferring your technology, your idea or innovation, then other people also may start giving you feedback, guidance, and then suggestions for improvement also. That is all possible. Gives opportunity to generate income from the technology, because if you have developed some very innovative product, uh, like some innovative app you have developed, social app which you are using, social media type of app, and if you are not using it for the for the people, then you may not be generating resources. So if you are commercializing it, then it will certainly help you in getting some revenues also. Promotes economic development through commercializing innovation technology, because when something you have developed, like we can say big technologies, like this during the COVID, a number of technologies were developed, and when they were commercialized, when they were made available to the people, they help the people also, and in other way they help in enhancing the economy of the country. So that is also possible. And when you are trying to commercialize your product, your idea, then certainly you will like to first protect its intellectual property, or would like to get it a patent. So this is possible only when you are thinking to commercialize. If you are not thinking, then you may not be worried about, you may not be more interested in getting its IPR or patent registered file. So that all is possible in this case. Increases business to business transaction also. When you are doing something like you have planned to commercialize your idea or your technology, then what will happen? Someone who has taken your idea, who has we can say bought your idea by paying, or by can say the mutual kind of joint venture, then in that case this will increase business to business transaction also, and that will help in getting revenues, and also helping the consumers or the users in that context. Creates expand opportunity for the entrepreneurs and the development of support network. When you have something in your mind, like uh, just now I was listening to Dr. Ravi Shankar. He had some idea to develop in the field of mental health. And if you are having that idea, you have developed some technology or some innovative business model or business plan. If you start developing on that, then certainly it will be creating a network of the users and others, maybe the people who may like to join you for providing service, for getting service. So that kind of opportunities are also possible, and this all is possible when you think that technology should be commercialized. Improves research and the prestige of the innovator and institute. That is very important. When you have developed something, you have a very good idea, and if you are keeping it to up yourself only, then you may not be having that kind of that popularity or publicity in the market, in the society. Nobody knows you. When you commercialize it, make it available to the people, then only you will come to know that people are knowing you, recognizing you, that the so and so has done this kind of innovation, this kind of innovation has been developed. So that is all possible. And also, when you go to the market, when you go to the people, then you get some feedback and suggestions that help you in improving your product. So in a way, that research possibilities are also there. And if you are not thinking to transfer it to other person, to other industry or company, then you can certainly set up your own startup or business. That is also one way of commercializing. So that is why you should think of commercializing your technology, your idea or innovation. Uh, these all things basically give you an idea why this commercialization of a technology is required, why I should go for commercializing it. Uh, when you have thought of commercializing your idea or innovation, then what are the different stages? I would like to basically um, uh, divide it into three parts. These all steps have basically three components, or that is a scientific, law related, and business related. When you talk about the science related, then you will find the innovation, disclosure, and evaluation. These three steps in the process of technology transfer, they require basically scientific bent of mind. Innovation, that can be done only when you have researched something, you have developed some prototype and tested it, tried it over the over your user, um, or the customers, and then you can say that this is the product which you have developed. So this is involving a scientific method in that context. And then very important thing is whatever you have developed, it needs to be disclosed. Disclosed means to be shared so that people can know that this kind of item has been developed, and then no one else has developed. If you have developed and already this kind of thing has been developed, then people will raise question, they can raise objections. So this is also very important component of the technology transfer process, to disclose whatever you have done. And for that disclosure purpose, basically important thing is to go for the IPR or patent, because when you go for that, you will have to disclose what you have done, because that disclosure is under certain conditions. People cannot use it, cannot misuse it. That's why you need not to worry about that. So this is a kind of scientific step in this context for the process of transfer. And then comes the evaluation. When you disclose it, the persons, experts, or the other persons, they evaluate. They come to know that what is that, whether it is useful to the people, to the users, meant for it has been developed. So that kind of aspect will be there. So these three component, innovation, disclosure, and evaluation, these I can say are the scientific component. And then comes the protection of your innovation, protection of your intellectual property. And for that also there is a long procedure, proper procedure you will have to follow. And that will help you in getting it your own right over that property, intellectual property. So you'll have to go for protection. Then we can say this is a component related to the law. Then comes the next process, next step in this process is the business related. You'll have to market whatever you have done. When you have protected your idea, your product, then you need to go for the market. Who are the taker of your technology? Who will be the people who want to use it? Maybe you cannot directly go to the end customers, but you will have to find out who can make mass production of your technology, who can make your technology available to the end users which you have thought of. So for that purpose, you'll have to do a lot of research, marketing. What are the companies? What are the business ventures or institutions who will be able to help you? Who will be able to take over your technology when you are thinking to transfer? And when you have decided a certain company or certain institute whom you want to share your or transfer your technology, then there are certain procedures for that purpose. Licensing, what kind of terms and conditions will be there, what kind of licenses would be required. These all things basically will be part of that procedure when you are thinking to transfer your technology. And then based on that, with the help of that company with whom you have tied up to transfer or decided to transfer with that company, you will have to develop the product. because they will develop as per your design, as per your idea, and you will have to tell them that this is exactly what you thought of. In that case, there are again certain conditions for revenue sharing, for fee sharing, for other kind of things which you will have to decide. And then comes the question of commercialization. When the product is final, when product has been finalized, and then what kind of design or the product you had thought, it has been developed by the company or by the institute or industry, then comes the question of commercialization. So this is basically the process of technology transfer. We start from the innovation, and then that innovation we disclose as per the procedures of the patent office, and then in that process itself, the evaluation takes place by the users, by the company, by the patent office experts, and then the protection takes place. Then you will get some right for that. Yes, it is my product. On what conditions I am sharing with the other industry or company or individual. So those all things are protected there. And then comes the question of marketing. Whatever technology you have transferred, you have decided to transfer, that has to be marketed for among the end users. And then in this process itself, this licensing, or we can say the spin-off industry, that kind of things are required. And then final is the product development and its commercialization. So these are the steps for transferring the technology which you have developed. What kind of technologies can be technology transfer could be there, because sometimes there are technologies which are developed by the inventor or by the innovator, and they are licensed to other companies. That is basically whatever you have developed something and you are licensing to other companies. This was your idea, you thought of this, and the company or the industry which they want, they are also interested in. So this kind of technology transfer is basically technology push transfer, we can say. You developed and then it is being transferred to them. So there is nothing, normally this kind of things takes place. It is a common with the universities, like when you work in a lab, in your research lab, in a university, or in even individual case, you are developing something, some idea came to your mind, you decided to develop, and then you thought where I should transfer it to. So some company, some interested industry, they came to you or you went to them, and then certain kind of licenses were done. So you transfer that to them. So this is a technology push transfer kind of thing. Normally, this kind of technology transfer takes place when technologies are developed in the universities, institutions, or in certain lab situations. Another thing is basically this is a market pull. Market pull kind of a technology transfer is when market demand is there, certain kind of product is required, certain kind of services are required in the market, and you sense those, you recognize those demand, and accordingly you or your industry or your institute or your lab, they decide to work upon that. Yes, this is the requirement of the people, this is the requirement of the market. Then accordingly new technologies are developed, and then those technologies are transferred to the industries, because in their case there is a scope of more revenue generation, there is a scope of more business generation. This kind of things they basically take place in startups, because whenever you are thinking of setting up a startup, then you think of the people's need, you think of the market demand. Whenever you are thinking market demand, people think you have certain business model in your mind. So this kind of technology transfer takes place when you have to set in mind to set up a startup or business. So this is a market pull kind of technology transfer. And sometimes you might have seen that you are doing something, and then some new product is developed. While developing a product, some new idea is generated. That idea gives a solution to another problem. So this kind of technological spillover also takes place. but these are very not very frequent. So when this kind of technological spillovers takes place, they certainly give rise to certain new advancements in one area, and that can be used in another area. And this kind of interdisciplinary utility of technological spillovers, that also takes place. So that gives that is sometimes very useful to the people. These unintentional technological benefits, they basically come in this technology spillover. And when you think of transferring technology, then there are certain challenges also, because if you have developed some idea, some innovation, or some technology, then normally you think this is mine. But when you are transferring it, so transferring it means you may not be interested in transferring everything whatever you have in mind. If you have transferred it, then sometimes whatever spirit you had in mind, that is killed. You may not be more interested in working on that, because when you have transferred that technology, it has been taken over by some other industry. They may be working at their own. What if they are getting some problems? They may be facing at their own, unless some terms and conditions are there in the license. Otherwise, normally your interest that dies in that case. So this is a great challenge. If you have developed something with great enthusiasm, with great passion, but if you transfer it because of many reasons, maybe to earn some money, maybe to you are not able to further work upon that, so in that case this kind of problem is there. And also there is a very great problem, like when you transfer this technology, upgradation is not possible. When you transfer it to someone else, they may not be as expert as you were there. They may not be knowing what you had in mind, so that kind of upgradation may not be there. So this is another challenge. Many a times, because when you are transferring technology, you transfer on certain terms and conditions, and some of the terms and conditions, they involve the revenue, they involve the payment sharing also. And many a time this kind of dispute takes place, because either that company is earning more money and not paying sufficient amount to you, then dispute arises. And in that case, the technology whatever you had in your mind you had developed, you may not be helping them further. So that is a kind of challenge. Another is like a after sales service. This is also great challenge. Whenever technology has transferred, you may be knowing about like a technology transfer of certain big things, Rafale or some defense related, nuclear related items from other countries to one country to another country. They do not support this kind of after sales services or backup of technology. They will have to depend on them only for everything. We'll have to depend on them. If they are not providing that kind of support, then the items or whatever products you have purchased, they may be useless also. Another very serious challenge is like IPR issues, because you developed some technology and that technology was patented in your name, then it is fine. You may be taking that revenue sharing based on that. If it is not done in your mind, in your name, then other person whom you have sold it, you have transferred this intellectual property, they may be facing this IPR issues. Or sometimes trademark issues are also there, because many companies you might have seen, they are purchased by some other person, and then there is a dispute in the name of trademark, because that company want to retain its trademark, and the new purchaser, they don't want to go with their trademark. So that kind of IPR issues are also there. Another challenge is like that I have told you, in case of defense and a nuclear technology transfer are done on the country to country basis. In that case, the serious issues are basically the financial burdens, because if you are not transferring, or that technology is not being transferred, then financial burden of maintaining that that is always there. So this kind of that aspects are to be considered very seriously whenever you are taking technology from other person, or you are transferring your idea or technology to some other person. So these financial issues need to be addressed very seriously, very minutely, so that in long run they not create that kind of problem. And also because when we talk about technology transfer at country to country level, in that case it becomes vulnerable to the country, future of the country also, because security issues are there. If you have developed some technology which is having some very security issues, then it becomes very important to consider those all things very minutely, because to whom you are transferring technology, they should be very clear about that, what are the security issues, what are the other aspects which they should not consider or you should consider. These all are very important, in particularly in case of defense and the nuclear sector. So these are the issues which I thought I should share with you regarding this technology transfer. And example of one example I would like to share with you. You might have heard about this history of Google history. If you go in 1996, two students of Stanford University, they had developed a search engine, internet search engine, that was the PageRank. It was 1996, and then after that, that technology was transferred by the Stanford University to a company, and that is now very well known. That is a Google, and this, it's the world's largest and most profitable technical company. And this kind of technology transfer takes place. There is a very big history, and there are certain issues related to this also. When in 1996 it was transferred, everything was not transferred to the company who is now owning this Google, but thereafter certain disputes also took place, and but ultimately it was resolved. But at the same time, these two students of Stanford University, they had developed another internet search engine, but that could not be popularized or could not be made as useful as the Google is. So this kind of technology transfer takes place. Many of students working in the universities and institutions, in their lab, they develop certain products, innovative products as part of their research work. And when they develop that product as a part of research work, they want to basically, normally I have seen that they want to transfer it to the industry for its mass utilization, for so that it could be used in the interest of the country or the society. Any product they have developed, that need to be transferred. There are certain norms, certain procedures that I have shared with you. But if you are yourself interested in doing some in converting that technology or idea or innovation into a startup, that is all possible. But in that case also, I would like to share with you, there are possibilities of getting fund from the investors. When you go to a certain investor, then they also ask for certain share in your technology, in terms of revenue, in terms of the other profits. So you will have to be very careful what kind of things you are doing, what kind of technology transfer you are doing with the industry or with the person who is investing money in your venture. So these all aspects need to be considered, because we know many of our students are doing very good innovative work. They might be thinking how to go ahead further in this direction, because as a curiosity, because of their own interest, because of their need of the society, or influence from other persons, they thought of developing some innovative idea, some innovative product, but now they are worried what to do with that. So in that context, I would like to suggest you that you should go for technology transfer. And if you are thinking of technology transfer, then you should be very careful about these all aspects which I have shared with you. Because when we talk about technology transfer, uh, whatever innovative things you have developed, uh, you will have to be very careful what kind of component, what kind of property, intellectual property right will remain with you, what kind of revenue sharing will be with you, because many cases we have seen the students completely sell out their intellectual property, give it to some other person, maybe individual or maybe to the company. So these all aspects are very important when you are thinking of technology transfer. And we have seen that this kind of commercialization of technology is very important. Over the last 4 5 years, we have seen our students are doing very good innovative work, and some of them have developed good innovative products also, prototypes they have developed, but they are facing problem how to go further in this context. How to go further in this context, I think there this process of technology transfer comes there. The process of technology commercialization comes there. If you have own resources, if you have own funding, then you can certainly do, you can use that technology for the mass production. Otherwise, you will have to think of transferring your technology or contacting with some other person. So these all things are required there. That's why we thought this today's session, though small, but is very important for all of you who are interested in doing something, developing some innovative ideas, or developing some innovative technologies, softwares. What will you do after developing that? This you think right in the beginning. If you are developing this simply as a project work, sometimes that project work also can lead to a very good business or a startup. So if you are doing it simply as a project work of your or program or course, that's fine. It is it can be a good for fun that you have developed something, you can get it patented also. But if you have developed, you have done that kind of effort, uh, developed something, then certainly you should go a step further. And a step further will be this only, कि आप ये करें कि आप अपने जो भी प्रोडक्ट आपने डेवलप किया है या जो आपका इनोवेटिव आइडिया है, उसको कहीं ना कहीं यू शुड ट्राई टू कॉमर्शलाइज इट. एंड फॉर द पर्पज ऑफ कॉमर्शलाइजेशन देयर आर टू पॉसिबिलिटीज. अदर आप अपने आप उसको कहीं एक मास स्केल पे प्रोडक्शन करें, मास स्केल पे यूटिलाइज करें, और दूसरा पॉसिबिलिटी ये है कि यू टाई अप विद सम अदर सम कंपनी जो उसको बाय कर सकती हैं, वेयर यू कैन ट्रांसफर दैट technology. So this is from my side regarding this, and I will suggest that you should think seriously in this context, and I'll be happy to address your questions or queries which you have in mind. Yes. Abhi, can I know that some of you who have developed some innovation or innovative things, you have interest in taking it further? You can write in a chat box also, or you can say that if you have developed something or are interested in developing.
Yeah, Dilpreet want to say something.
Yes, ma'am. Am I
Yes,
audible?
Dilpreet, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, what actually I have come up with the idea of a strategy firm. A strategy firm which focus upon time poverty, which mostly goes, which is mostly encountered by initiating entrepreneurs in the initial phase of their startups. And what we do is that take the big data of every single step in that firm or any startup. We analyze that data, and what outcome I have personally seen is that 80% of profits come from 20% of the part of that any startup. What budding entrepreneurs do is they focus upon every single part of that firm rather than focusing on that 20%, which gives them 80%. And the same thing happened to me also in the beginning. And when I got to know about this, I start to focus upon that 20%, which gives me 80% of output. rather than focusing upon the leftover 80%, which just gives a very small amount, like 20% of output. So what I want to question for Dr. OP Sharma is that, sir, whether these ideas can be patented or they should be in an implementation form before being patented.
I think the idea which you have cannot be patented unless you put it in the form of a proper, maybe the proof of concept or design, or a product that can be done. But yes, what you have said, it happens. Normally, it happens that 80% and then 20% ratio is there in this output and productivity. This is there, but for patenting idea, you can go for uh, some design development and then file for patent.
Okay.
Dr. Sharma, can I speak?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Dr. Sam.
I have a question that I know the motivating factor for many innovators is commercializing it. And the more it gets, commercialized and you become more innovative, and then your interests are there are very, very high. And it develops and formulates into a big business like Google. But my innovation is of structural in education. So I'm really struggling to get it going in the sense accepting in the education sector where it is totally held by the governments, either state government or central government. And my innovation of structural innovation is not, I've been talking to many governments and written many all the ministers and education ministers, chief ministers, and central government education minister, but then it's not taking up. I don't know, but this so when there is no revenue generation, or when there is no commercialization of an idea, how do we promote this? Like, for example, I will tell you, it's maybe I'm little off the subject. Let's say my education, reforms is that if my desire and these reforms that I'm working on, still I'm working and studying, is that I want to give quality education for poor children in rural and far-flung areas in India and in all developing countries, where the children, if you, my feeling is that if the children are not educated and give them a quality education, India can never come up, and everybody knows this. And today, if you see the disparity between the children who are studying in private, in big cities, private schools, and even place, I belong to Mumbai. In a place like Mumbai, you see a private school which is giving all the facilities to the child, and adjacent to that there is a municipal school, BMC school, which has no facilities at all. They have never seen a computer. They have never seen a lab. So how do the quality of education improve? So my innovation that I'm pursuing, it is not going to be commercialized. There's no way that it's going to generate me. But the satisfaction I will get ultimately is that the children are educated. That is my desire. It's like something, I'm just trying to give an example. It may be off that what I said. That like Gandhiji, when he fought for freedom of India, in those days, in that era, there was only the wars and the powers that you have. Even today, if you see most of it, the powers that you have with your defense and other things, that you could capture, or you can convert what your desires were. But Modi ji followed a very innovative sorry, not Modi ji, Gandhi ji has followed a very innovative way of non-violence, which nobody believed that they could fight and win over and get us freedom. It's like his desire, and my desire is also similar. I don't see any income generation in this. I don't want also. My desire is to see that the children of poor children are educated and given good quality education. Please apply, show me the way. I'll be very happy.
In fact, what you are saying, you have some innovative way of teaching learning. Um, you
Correct.
have some innovative methodology you have designed and developed. That can be implemented by you at any place. But if you want to make it spread all over the country in all these schools and colleges, like your methodology or your concept should be followed by them. So in that context, what kind of model will you follow? You will have to bring certain model to train the people, train the teachers first to follow what you have in mind, and then they can further train the students also. Like this kind of teaching learning methodology will be more useful to provide quality education. And if that requires money, then there are two possibilities: either the government or some other agency may support you in this all funding, or you may have to think of a model which can generate money from it. That is all possible. And if it is generating money itself, then I think it will be itself commercialized. So for that purpose, you will have to think of a revenue model for making your innovation popularized, or making it expanded among all these schools and teachers. So that's very important. Otherwise, you can think of providing quality education. Think yourself, you cannot do in the country. You'll have to find some sources, funding sources, and for that, government is not going to support. What you will do? You'll have to think of commercializing your idea or your innovation.
No, but my innovation cannot be implemented unless government supports me, because
Uh,
all complete education is controlled by government. Or there are boards in the yeah, which are controlling the schools, like a CBSE board. It's got a structure. There's ICSE board which has got structure which they follow. My innovation is that instead of especially India today or poor countries, they don't their GDP spent on the education is very very low. Today we will know from the budget also it's very low. Yet we know, all of us, like educators like you and me, all of us, we know that the future of a country is only educated people. Innovation comes from education and educated people. So to do that, I'm saying simply my format is that instead of a good school like a Ambani school, it's got football ground, like hockey ground, it's got a computer lab, it's got. I'm saying don't have all that in all schools. I'm saying it is foolish today. Instead, you make one, I call it core schools. There are 6 core schools, I say. In a core school, like a sports academy, that's a core school. In this core school, surrounding 5 kilometers or 3 kilometers, whenever the children have got sports period, take them to the sports academy where there are, facilities. There are instructors, coaches who specialized in that field who can give quality education. So that means the 5 surrounding schools, the children are aware and brought up into that kind of atmosphere. Similarly, a lab, when you have a lab class, you take the children to the lab class. Every school will take the children to their lab class. And so they have the facilities, they see, experiencing these things. And most importantly, with this awareness of to the children, they build up a desire to achieve and greatness.
You see, Dr. Sampath, what is more important? Like you have some innovative approach of teaching learning. That's right.
Correct.
But you want to make it popularize among all the schools and colleges. And what you do? One thing is depending on the government, that you can understand how possible it is. But what you can do, you can make people aware of this. You can provide that kind of training, and for that purpose, you can think of developing an innovative model of making your ideas, making your approach available to other persons. That I'm suggesting. Otherwise, if we depend on the government and then government will do only, then I think that may not be innovative, because innovativeness is when you are finding ways to the problems existing. That is the problem. You are not getting money, you are not getting funds, but what kind of solution you can think of, so that your ideas, your innovative approach is reaching to the large number of teachers, large number of schools. That you will have to think. That may require certain different model, like you can reach out to the schools. Many schools are very much interested in getting their teachers trained in new technologies, in new innovative methods of teaching learning. And if you are reaching out to these schools and making this kind of strategy, then I think your idea will certainly reach out to, and once it becomes popular, government may also recognize it and may institutionalize it. That is all possible. So you'll have to think of implementing your idea innovatively. That is my suggestion.
Okay, thank you. I'll keep
Okay.
trying.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, I have a answer to Dr. Sampath Daniel's question.
Fine, fine. Yes.
Is
Come
he
on.
listening, Dr. Sampath?
Yeah, yeah, I'm listening. Thank you
Uh,
for participating.
Sir, actually, what happens is I have to have I have an education which is very high, and education in the terms that I have been taught in a very highly qualified private school. And now when I am back to my village, I see the friends from my childhood who are not to the extent of education which I am. And what I heard from your conversation is desire to achieve, and that's the thing which I find in myself but not in them. What where it lacks is where you say it's right that the children are not provided to the facilities like lab, sports venues, or any other areas where activity is high. If there is any physical activity related to that, the desire to achieve increases much more than taught in a theoretical activity.
Absolutely. Which I say is called, which I also say is blended learning. Blended
Uh-huh.
learning in the sense you learn on your own and then you go and practice it in the field, or you go to a lab and then you experiment it. And the future I foresee, sorry to interrupt, the future I foresee is in the next 10 years, the entire education system will change. It will not be any more classroom teaching. That's what I visualize. Maybe it will be 50%, and the rest will the children will learn on their own. Like today, I'm doing IGNU. I do 90% on my own on the computer. I've never gone to a class.
Dr. Momita, you would like to give your observations?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Jyotsna. Actually, I will just add on to what Dr. Sharma has said in case of Dr. Daniel's questions. This is a very interesting discussion, and I think the other participants are also listening. So, for them, I'd like to say that, identification of the problem. I'm not saying identification of the solution. Please remember that. Identification of the problem is the first step towards your innovation journey. Now, you could start with a very broad area where you want to innovate, you want to change the system. But think again, because you, in your journey, will always come across uh, people who are adapters and who have a managerial tendencies. So there is a difference between adapters and innovators. So adapters are those people who do not want to take risks. So acceptance of your innovation is very important. So what I would suggest to everybody here is that you have to be very specific about your innovation, what exactly you want to do. You think very in a very focused way. You have to strike out many things that are not that are beyond your capacity. Just think about what you can do. Make a small change in a small area, and that will lead to a change. They'll bring a change in the whole system itself. This is how one way of thinking about it. So let us not think about changing a whole big system. Let us think about making a small change which may change the whole system. So this is for yeah, the beginners, and it's a journey. And please do not think that it will take one day. They say Rome was not built in a day, so it will take years actually. In fact, be prepared. If you work diligently, passionately, it might take 5 years or 8 years or 10 years. Many students here, like Mr. Dilpreet Singh or Mr. Prabhakar Rao, would know how much time it took them to complete the journey from their idea to their startup. So please focus on a very small thing, and the most important thing that I said was identify the problem, specific problem. So think about it. I'm not going to give you more details, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Momita. Any other suggestions, observations?
Ma'am, what I think is that our country is not facing poverty from a financial aspect. Our country is facing a problem from a time poverty aspect. That is that if we value the time, the amount of work, more work in less time, that will increase the our financial also. But we see that most of the places the time is not being utilized properly in any system, whether you take it education, whether you take it uh, transportation, whether you take it communication, or the services from government. The services that is to be implemented in 1 year, that is being implemented in 5 years. So on the practical level, implemented in 5 year will be working in 10 years. We are already 10 years behind in that perspective.
In fact, this time, yes, time is very important, but taking right step at right time, that is also more important, I can say. Because many a times you are doing something whether it is required at that particular time or not, or at a particular time a certain initiative is required. If you are not taking that, then certainly we will be lagging behind, which you have given the example of traffic or something else, traffic management, other things also. That will happen. Prabhakar Rao wants to say
Mr.
something.
Yeah.
Sir, namaste, sir. Sir, I wish to know exactly what is the definition of new innovative idea, sir, because I get this doubt because my recently started company, private limited company, we make food processing unit, vegetable post harvesting to prevent their post harvesting losses in various innovative forms, maybe dried vegetables, powdered vegetables, frozen vegetables, and in many other forms. I think there are, for example, beverages like Thumbs Up, Pepsi. They have some formula or criteria of their product. Actually, frozen vegetables, dried vegetables, powdering vegetables, that is not a rocket science. Everybody knew this. But due to lack of these food processing facilities in our country, nearly 4% of our GDP, approximately in absolute terms, it may be 9 lakh crore rupees, Indian rupees. That much of post harvest losses are there. So, may I know exactly what is the definition of a? Because whenever I am searching for some definition of the innovation, there are a lot of it is being defined in a vague terms. That is not a clear one. What is innovation? We are trying in different evaluations of my product, frozen, dried, and pickles, atta, poppers. We are trying different combinations, and I wish to know what is innovation. That is my doubt, sir.
Prabhakar, what do you think? What is innovation? What have you thought of?
Innovation means, sir. Actually, everybody knew this in my
What
field.
do you
I am
perceive?
specific about my field, sir. Sir, I am specific about my field, sir.
Yes,
Food processing sector.
yes, yes.
This is not a complex technology, drying of vegetables, freezing vegetables, but that is not being practiced in our country on a scale. Very in a remote places, very little amount is being processed in that manner, but in a scale that is not available. So, can I make it my evaluation as an innovation, sir? Can I take it as that and apply for a patent or something like that?
You see, there are two different things. Applying for patent is one aspect, and doing something innovatively, that is another arm. For if there is a patentable component that can be assessed and then can be certainly applied for patent, that Momita can give light on that. But as far as the innovation is concerned, you have noticed of certain problem, certain issues, certain challenge you noticed, and you try to find solution of that problem in a different way, in a very anti-conventional way, which was not earlier existing. That kind of solution you found, certainly it is an innovation. If you have done something value addition to the already existing processes, provisions in the food processing industry, then also it is a innovation. But whether it is patentable or not, that is certainly assessed and then only decided whether patent could be given or not. So it will depend that case to case. What is your case? In your case, what new thing you have done which was not already existing, and if it is having that kind of aspect or a component in that that could be patented, certainly you should go for. Okay.
Sir, is there any registry of list of patents in food processing sector?
Yes, that I think Momita will have to have a program, special program on that. What Dr. Kardam had yesterday suggested, that searching for patents, because that is very important. If it's already something similar is existing, someone has got patent done or not, you can search now on internet. It is easily available. So that process, I think we'll organize some program very soon, and you can participate in that. So we'll invite some expert where we will discuss about that. So this kind of doubts already something is existing or not, we can clarify. Mamita, you may like to add something here right now in brief.
Yeah, Dr. Sharma, I think we will organize another
Yes.
workshop and where these doubts will be cleared. Dr. Reddy would like to say something.
Yeah.
So, madam, one more thing, madam. The person who spoke before me, not Dr. O.P. Sharma, the student, he discussed about time poverty or something. That is exact problem that I am facing. If you can arrange some kind of a WhatsApp group or anything like that, we can interact with each other in a proper organized manner, madam. Because we don't know each other in this group. I don't know other people, others don't know me, etc. like that. But that is my exact problem, time poverty or something. He talked about that exactly. That's good.
You share your mobile number in the chat box or email. You can respond to us, write about yourself, and mention your mobile number. We'll add you in the WhatsApp group.
Dr. Sharma,
Others also get.
Dr. Sharma, Mirali has put in some questions in the chat box. She is asking if strategy or code can be protected and how. This I would like to tell you, Mirali, that the patent facilitation unit at IGNU is organizing sessions. The first session was about basics of patent, and we will be organizing more such sessions in future for our innovator students. So you can join those sessions, and I think you will know how to protect your code and algorithm and how to file for patents and all. So you will keep connected, be connected, and join such sessions whenever they are held. And she has one more query from IGNU. We can get a person as a mentor to help us solve errors in our code while we code for our edtech product, or we need to hire someone. So here she is talking about mentorship, and I would request Dr. Sharma to please throw some light on this.
You see, these two aspects regarding details of patent and other copyright issues, as Dr. Sujata has shared with you. We have this patent facilitation unit where we organize specialized talks and workshop seminar focusing on the IPR and patent issues. Some of these issues have been raised here. Second thing is like mentoring. Mentoring, if we find some student who has done something or want to do something and they want to take our help, we will certainly connect with them in one-to-one or in group also. So that kind of mentoring we will do as per your interest, as per your area in which you are working. So you can share your details, what kind of mentoring you want, what you are already doing, and I will suggest you to all of you, those who are interested in getting further connected on regular basis with us, you kindly write to us in the mail through which you have got this the mail for this workshop. You write in that mail that what you are doing, what is your business or startup or enterprise, and what kind of help or support you want from us. So accordingly we will connect with you.
So, Dr. Sharma, we can also attach them or put in contact with the experts, like she wants help in coding and all. So that can be easily done. Apart from
No, that
mentors,
will be done, because
also we can do.
once we come to know your interests and your area in which you are working, we'll bring the similar kind of expert to you. Mentoring also we will involve those persons.
Mr. Reddy would like to say something.
Yes, madam. There is a competition of market in every technology and transfer. In present days, in every field, technology is necessary. But the technology should be available to common men, common people who are in need. Technology must be cheap and should be utilized to all at a cheaper rate. In hospitals, the technology they are using is very costly in nowadays, but it must be available to all. The technology is useful to some people only who want to put more investment in technology. The profession of doctors are becoming more costly in getting technology in nowadays. If one patient goes to the doctor, they are prescribing blood test, urine test, ECG, MRI scanning, X-rays scanning, etc. And they are getting more benefit from the new technology they are achieving by purchasing the technology. But it is not utilizing to the poor people. That, for example, in power sector, we are utilizing petrol, diesel, and all, and they are more costly in nowadays. It should be now the technology has developed and more cars and scooters are introduced in on battery. But the cost of the technology is very high and it is not utilizing to the common people nowadays. This is my question.
You are right, Mr. Reddy. Technology, normally existing technology may be very costly also. When
Yes, yes.
you observe that technology is costly, and if you have that kind of expertise to find solution to that problem, making it cheaper, accessible to the common people, then innovators are doing this kind of thing. Recently, day before yesterday, I heard a news that IIT, I think BHU or Kharagpur, they have developed a portable X-ray machine. What is that portable X-ray machine? You can take that X-ray machine to remote area, village area, and then get X-ray done at a very nominal cost. Uh, Even the person, the doctor in that remote area, they can afford that X-ray machine and can do X-ray at a very cheaper cost. So this kind of technological developments are taking place, keeping in view the problems, because problem of costly technology is there. As far as you mentioned about the health related technologies, maybe the I have given example of X-ray, blood test also. If you go to the pathology lab, then there are very costly tests. But if you find some kits also, there are certain kits available now for some blood tests. For example, for sugar test, kits are available, you can do it at your home. other things are also being done. That kind of low, cheaper, cost effective technologies are being developed. This is innovation, and that depends if you are transferring that technology to a company who will commercialize it and then earn a lot of money, then again it will be costly. But if you are making it accessible to all, free, then many people are making the technology free also. So that all is possible, but certainly the problems faced, whether it is a cost problem, whether it is an accessibility problem, they give rise to development of new technologies. That is happening.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Sir,
They,
I would like to add
yes.
few of the points as Mr. Reddy addressed also regarding the IT and everything. So similar issue I have also faced in my past experience, and all of most of the Indians face this kind of problem, and the problem is guidance. Guidance regarding any aspect, any field. Like for an example, you are not that familiar with hospitality or tourism sector for an example, and you, for an example, you are
Legend.
going. Sorry, hello, hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
continue.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yes. So in that aspect, like for an example, if you want to go and visit some place and you are not aware that what is exactly the information which is available, or maybe it is not available, so I have an idea. I am generating this idea and I'm working on this, that why can't India have a chatbot? Like if you want any kind of information irrespective of any location you are stationed, you can just ask that chatbot that, and that chatbot will guide you the exact information. Like if you are sitting in Delhi and if you wanted to know that from Madurai to Rameshwaram what will be the convenient option, which will be which will be in aspect to economical as well on one side, and an aspect to luxury at one time also. So that chatbot will guide you in exactly in a manner that this is what the distance, this is what the bus number, this is what the fare, so that no one can make you, like you will not ever, you will not feel cheated in any case. And this is what I am thinking, so I need some guidance here in this case. Like whatever we do not know in our life, we should have such a platform where if we will ask that chatbot or a person that this is what I wanted to do, or this is what information I need, so that person can guide us. I think in if we have that this kind of system in India, then in that case, as India is growing rapidly, it will add a very good advantage for the people who are in remote areas especially.
Dave, you have this idea your own, or you want to develop something in this direction? You simply have idea.
So this is with my personal experience. I wanted to develop, I wanted to explore more on this sector, and I wanted to make a startup with this,
What kind
because
of support? What kind of support or guidance you want?
so as I want the support, basically basic support will be from IT sector, because they will be dealing with the IT aspects, and the major requirement which is needed in to implement all the startup is data. So until and unless I have the data, I cannot run anything. So the major support will be from the IT part
I
only.
think we can discuss in detail about your idea and
Mhm.
how we will go further in this direction that we'll work out.
Because to be very honest, I went in the COVID period. I went to Dubai, and when I went there, I was not having sufficient information from India, that what protocols I need to follow, what are the steps, what I need to do. Nothing was crystal clear on either of the private sector's email websites or else in the government. And in Delhi airport also, no one was that much educated to educate someone in a proper, convenient manner. But when I landed in Delhi, when I landed in Dubai, there was not a single person to guide me. The complete system was on automation. Whatever information I will be requiring over there, it is irrespective to my food, let's say for the vegan restaurant, let's say for the visa issues and everything, everything was automated. I just need to ask the system. There were long 55-inch TV were installed over there. I need to type over there, and they were giving me the exact precise information which I did not expect any person can guide me. So according to that information, I ended up with
No, that's
that
fine.
particular.
That's fine. You have basically got a problem, and then you are very nicely observed. But now the question is how and what kind of initiatives could be taken in this context.
Sir,
So
I need some exposure in this
yes,
case
you
because
can
I
you can
want to
discuss you can discuss in detail with us. And if you are staying, where do you stay?
in Delhi, sir.
In Delhi. So you can
Yes.
easily come over here and then can discuss in detail. And if you want to
Sure.
work in this direction, you can have a the team also team which can comprise of
Mm-hmm.
some IT expert and some other. So
Mm-hmm.
that kind of team can work upon a even for a startup also. So come over sometime and then we will discuss in detail.
Sure, sir. I will send you an email on this.
Yes, sir, that will fine. And I'll
Sure.
request you all those who are doing something in the field of startup or innovation, kindly mention about that small write up and then write in mail that what kind of support and guidance you want from us in future. So that will help us in understanding what are the exact expectations from you. Okay. Yes. Any other?
Uh, Excuse me, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, if you carefully see that when students go for a lab practical, I myself have faced these problems in a lab. A group of 10 students in our class were taken to a lab, and in lab what happened is mentor teaches us verbally, put this ml of this in test tube, put 50 ml of this liquid in this beaker. When we were taught verbally and visually, we were not as much as effective when we were put on our own self, do it yourself way. But when provided with the lab manual, we were as effective as whole the 10 students were uh, with 100% output, because everything was written in the lab manual, what you have to do and how you have to do. I think if these kind of operation manuals are provided in every sector, like when you go on any kind of trip, or you go on any kind of you do any kind of business, if you prepare an operation manual, after this you have to do this, you are sure what is next. A human can make mistake, but when written down the whole proper plan and proper execution and proper operation manual, you can't make mistake. The live example I think is of famous restaurant McDonald. If they have written in the operation manual to put 250 gram of salt, they will not go beyond 250.1. They will put just 250 grams of salt for the taste and the uh, what we say seasoning of the food. I think operation manuals are very helpful in every field of work, whether it be business, education, or going on a trip, or going on a way beyond innovation or new innovation, or starting a new startup.
Um, they basically it's a good suggestion that operational manual in a different fields, different walks of our life that can be, and it can be a I can say it can be a good idea for a startup also. If you develop a um, website, mobile app where all kind of information in this manual form are available, then that will be very useful for the people, and if you make it popular among the people, and certainly it will be very popular once it is useful to this. But yes, someone has written in that what Murali, Mirali, that it is a spoon feeding or a documentation. Spoon feeding for the persons like me or anybody else who is not interested in doing something, for them it is a good for spoon feeding. But if you are really interested in doing something, explore something at your own, then they don't require this kind of manuals or support. They will be exploring, because there are people who go for explorations and then do the things at their own, find out new and innovative things in their journey. So that is up to you, whatever you want to do. But for the persons who are interested, who want some kind of support, and I think there is a large number of persons who require this kind of guidance and support. Where can I go? How should I go? How can I find certain kind of thing? So if this kind of documentation in the form of manual is available, then that will be a good initiative if someone can work upon it.
Dr. Sharma, it is already 1:35.
So we can bind up, I think.
Yeah, and there are questions which I see are coming from our participants. So maybe we can, apart from the WhatsApp group, we can have a discussion forum where,
Yes.
they can get the feeds in their email. And so we can create a discussion forum for all the participants, and where we can individually interact with them and further guide them.
You can give the link of Navriti portal also. Those who are interested in a innovation or a startup, they can register on Navriti portal, and then we can get connected in virtual way through discussion forum, or you can get some learning material also there. So that also is possible.
Yeah, that we'll do. So now, not taking much time, what we could get from this session is that we have a lot of participants who have brought about complex problems, and obviously the problems, the statement that is, the problems are not clearly identified. They are quite generic in nature, and they are of the nature which is the need of the society also. And what we can do is that all the participants who are interested in working further on their issues or the problems which they have either personally faced, or as Dr. Sampath said that he has some methodology ready with us, then we can have dedicated sessions where in each of the problems which, or the issues which they mentioned, somehow I could feel that through design thinking, after interacting with them in a one way, through design thinking, certainly we can facilitate them not only in framing the problem statement, but also in ideating, in kind of developing a prototype and testing in the field. And maybe then later on, we can further see how it could be commercialized, and how it could be further converted into an enterprise or a startup agency. So I thank Dr. O.P. Sharma for his well-articulated presentation on the topic. And I also thank our participants, who interacted in the previous session as well as in this session, and gave us an opportunity to further interact with them. And somehow through this session, I could feel and sense that a few of us, at least from this group, will be moving ahead, will be moving further in coming from the discovery stage to ideation, or even at the development stage. And I also thank my colleague, Dr. Momita Das and Dr. Sujata Santosh, for their support and their presence. And our backend team at NCID, Mr. Pawan, Mr. Praveen, and Mr. Lekraj. And I thank one and all, my namaskar to all. And we will be sharing the Google group link with you, and we can interact through that link. Thank you very much. Namaste.